Hello, everyone. Apologies if I start coughing. I'm a little bit sick, but I'm super happy to be here. And this is my first time taking part in educational session. And it has been so much fun, very great community. I would like to thank organizers and selection committee for providing us such a great opportunity to present today. And this talk is a joint effort of 11 people who are active members of different bioinformatics societies, communities in Ukraine. And we would like to share our vision and experience. And we would like to highlight three main subtopics: bioinformatics initiatives in Ukraine, formal education challenges and solutions. So I will start with NGOs, and there are four main ones at the moment in Ukraine, but this is, of course, not an extensive list. So they were all created at different time points, and they are both offline and online and even hybrid. So they also target participants with different English language proficiency. Some are purely Ukrainian, some are mixed, and some are in English, and that is also because they are international. They also have a very, very wide range of topics, starting from multi-omics integration, going towards the population genomics, and they cover different programming languages. So the Genomics UA, this community, I know very well. It was founded before the COVID, and they held like lots of successful offline meetings, but then they had to switch to being online. One notable example is a huge single-cell biology event with more than 1,000 participants all over the world. So it was not only Ukrainians. And one of the board members of this community actually released the handbook fully in Ukrainian. And we already talked today during the Wikipedia talk that how it is important basically to translate these bioinformatic courses into your native language. And this is extremely difficult task. And I was very happy to see how it was resolved in our case, because lots of people participated online and had lots of debates on how to translate such simple words as a read, I mean, a sequencing read. Even this was very difficult. Yeah, so members active online. We know this because they also introduced people to Google Workspace Suite. And this is very important. It gives you more visibility because every participant email, for example, with the domain of the community, and it helps to spread the word. So another one is Bioinformatics for Ukraine. It started as a series of Python workshops online, but then it quickly transitions to like a fully fledged bioinformatics school that took places all over the Eastern Europe. And again, this is international, but started like a Ukrainian initiative. So they focus on populational and evolutionary genomics, and they usually have like about 6 participants, and they actually raised funds to support hundreds of young bioinformaticians. You should also go and read the paper. I also took part in that. We published in Giga Science, and we decided to share our experience in supporting basically scholars in risk. So another one is the Ukrainian Biological Data Science Summer School, and this is fully offline and taking place in Ukraine. And here you see some faculty members who actually attended that, and I applaud these people because they came to Ukraine physically, and this is literally dangerous. So this, for me, amazing, and this support is really what we are very, very thankful for. And this one was actually supported by ISCB also. So this is a very like a long school, 2 weeks, and yeah, I wish them all the best. Amazing initiative. We also have more younger examples, and my colleague already gave a talk today on a reuse project, and now they organize School on Computational Research Advances in Biomedical Sciences on the basis of Kyiv School of Economics, and they also give credits for that. So this school actually also accepts international participants, so you are welcome to apply. So I would like to also mention life science course supported by German agency DAAD and University of Tübingen. This is more on a biological side. However, I think they incorporate lots of bioinformatics topics, and if you want to attract more students from the technical backgrounds, maybe sometimes you can advise them, go take biological courses to get this in-depth knowledge. The slight problem is with this, once the financing or support from the funding agency ends, this is so hard to continue. I hope they will strive in the future, and they really have amazing courses. And what is important, all these initiatives, they are non-governmental, you can even call them informal. They collaborate together with each other, they help with organization, they consult each other, and what is important, they care for the students, because they also do career advising, and if it's on offline events, something like science speed dating, for example. So our students are our community. Here you can see some kind of demographics. Those are mostly university students with genomics UA, having more like PhDs and professional. However, something like UBDS is fully focused on students, and even sometimes inviting very talented high schoolers. This is quite interesting. We have some bias toward the female audience. I think this is because of the obvious reasons. Male, they serve in the army now, defending their country. However, there is another reason for that, because many of the participants are from biotechnology background, and historically speaking, those are usually females in Ukraine. I don't know how it is in other countries, would love to hear your experience. So maybe the slight deviation from this is Kiev School of Economics, because this is a technical university, and maybe with their resources, they are able to attract more students. The problem is not so much computer science student, which we would like to change. So what's the secret of the success of this organization? First of all, people who went abroad and then got this knowledge from the best universities and research institutions, and then came back, or maybe not necessarily came back, but still trying to support us online. And I would like to mention another organization, Science for Ukraine. They had very, very early response in the beginning of the war, and they have a list of labs that can accommodate researchers and rigs while also providing travel grants. Another success point is a very tight collaboration within these initiatives in Ukraine. For example, in this case, Genomics UA provided resources, lectures, hand-ons, people who give these lectures. Life sciences course, they basically did the recruitment and advertising among their students, and then it was supported by DAAD and University of Tübingen. Another thing we utilize, I think, very, very successfully is all these online platforms, because COVID and war basically forces you to be very, very good with all these online things. Now about formal bioinformatics education. So since 2020, there are 6 programs created, and according to ISCB career profile, 2 of them prepare bioinformatics researchers, 3 discovery biologists, and 1 even engineer. So in totally, they prepare around 60 masters and 80 bachelors. But if you compare a university in Kyiv, usually per year, they get 130 biology students. So you see that bioinformatics still like lagging in terms of programs, and it's just gaining this traction. So we analyzed one of such programs from the Institute of High Technology. So we use this ISCB competency framework. And we divided the levels of this framework on primary, secondary, because we think the primary are more important into the program. And if the program, the educational program, is paying equal attention to these competencies as it's written in the framework, we put it in green. If not enough attention to primary ones, we put red. And if too much attention to the secondary, it's yellow. So you see, this is not so bad, this program. However, there are some problems. For example, prepare life science data for computational analysis. We found out that it's mostly focused on how to prepare the wet lab things, not how to do the quality control, for example, for sequencing data analysis. So what we want to do is continue the analysis of the rest of the program, so we can eventually advise them on how to improve. So another new program that I'm emerging now is again from Kyiv School of Economics, and they decided to utilize ISCB competency framework from the start, which is amazing, I think. They are actually hiring, but I will get back to it later. And the challenges. This is very on this slide that we do not have enough program why we compare to Canada, because it's often approximately the same population, but in a developed country, of course, you will see more programs, and we are lacking especially in PhD ones. And the solution here could be private universities, because they are more flexible, they are faster to react to the demand, and they really, really want students. So another one is unequal outreach. Historically, we have some centers in Ukraine with more universities, and of course, people from these locations, they heard about bioinformatics because something is being taught. However, other regions of Ukraine are not so knowledgeable about that. And I think we need to have more like local events or school level events, such Olympiads, literally targeting bioinformatics. Another problem is, of course, lack of instructors, and the salaries for researchers and for university lecturers in Ukraine are so small that people usually find another like second job just to have enough expenses for life. So I think financial support for these people are essential. Another thing is actually what I already mentioned, limited engagement with computer scientists. And I think creating like the program for bachelors from scratch is hard, but we can start with just introducing some courses into the bachelor programs. We also have limited career opportunities, and men cannot go abroad at the moment. Before the war, it was very, very frequent that people outsource, for example, sequencing abroad to Europe because it's super cheap. However, unexpectedly with the war, hospitals and biotech companies understood that they need to develop the local capacities. They started to buy sequencers. We are in close contact with the Ukrainian company Biotech, which is an official Illumina partner in Ukraine, and they have some statistics on how many sequencer people started to buy, and this is actually increasing, which is great, because then something like a public health center can actually hire bioinformaticians who are appearing because there is a demand. And we think that the interconnection between these actors you see on the slide is a key to success. The computational infrastructure, we have national grid and cloud infrastructure, which I personally use. It's quite nice. It's OpenStack based. It's easy. You just launch your virtual machines. You can create something temporarily for students, for teaching, for research. However, this is not enough to cover all the universities. Some NGO, I know they actually use funds to basically buy services, online services for the computational resources. And I think here is where institutions abroad can very easily help us. So I would like to show you the not a comprehensive list of people involved in all these initiatives. And I would like to express one more time thanks to all, because we receive incredible level of support of Ukraine from the whole global scientific community. We would like to focus on solving these challenges I mentioned, and of course apply international standards in bioinformatics education. And you see that new programs that emerge, they try to incorporate that from the start to give high quality education, and of course international networking. And that's why I'm here today. And you can write me or my colleague, you see her email here on the screen. Yeah, and if you're interested in helping Kyiv School of Economics even remotely to give some lectures, please contact them. And I'm done today with the talk, and I'm happy to get your questions.
Thanks a lot, Alina, for this very inspiring talk, I would say. Are there any questions from the audience?
I think a comment rather than a question. Thank you very much for that absolutely inspirational talk. You may be aware that we have an endorsement program for ISCB aligned courses, and Russell is in the room. Russell's responsible for that program, so that might be a route to go down to actually get
we should
endorsement
definitely
of
talk
the,
after this. I'm not sure whether UBDS used the same route because they were supported, but I think more people should know about this endorsement program because the problem, I mean, we have lots of information. Sometimes it's really hard to focus what is the best route to support the local community. But some of these are not local. As you saw, many accept like international students. So if you help these initiatives, you help bioinformatics community as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. And the other quick thing is that your comments about development of bioinformatics as a field in Ukraine really struck home to me. I've done a lot of work with scientists in Latin America, and many of the things that you mentioned have parallels. And I'm particularly thinking of Peru. They only recently developed their first PhD program in bioinformatics. And I wonder whether there's some knowledge exchange that we could set up that would be useful there.
That is very interesting comment because usually we focus on neighboring countries because it is easy to access physically.
Yeah.
But you are right. Some people somewhere far away have very similar experiences, and we should explore that.
Yeah. Okay. I can chat to you
Okay.
afterwards about that.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'm very sorry to be late for the beginning. I wanted to ask whether the universities where these programs are cooperate with each other in a way, or these are separate programs completely?
This is a very good question. I'm not highlighting here, but we have some like newer universities, for example, Kyiv Academic University, and it was designed to be a cooperation of several research institutions, 8 if I'm not mistaken. I'm also employee of that. So some of them cooperate, but some not, and I think this is a problem. And that's why I started my talk with the NGOs, because they are fast, they collaborate with each other, and I think nowadays in Ukraine, they are the ones who lead, and higher education have to follow their lead, which I think is okay. Maybe the situation switches like tomorrow or in a year. I think who can invest the resources, those people should invest resources. If universities are lagging, then we need to create something fast and here and right now that will fill this void.
Thank you. Very inspirational indeed. If you could make a wish, what's the best way that the international bioinformatics community could help bioinformatics in Ukraine, in your opinion?
I will answer something simple. Be a lecturer in an educational program. This is the best at the moment, I would say. But this is hard. Education takes lots of your time. And if you're a researcher, you want to spend time on the research. And minimize the time on education, and you have your own responsibilities in your home institution, and then you need to allocate time for some Ukrainian students. That's why my answer is simple, but at the same time, it's hard to execute sometimes.
Last one.
I'll just follow up to that. Certainly in COVID, we learned that we can use virtual mechanisms to do teaching. But I wonder if there's a way to do or think about a model that allows a non-Ukrainian researcher to participate like once a week at a certain time, that allows what you need and bioinformatics trainers to participate and help, and then have like online hours with other support. I just think that we learned a lot in COVID, and maybe some of those tools can be used in this situation.
I really like this online hours idea, not necessarily like a fixed lecture, but rather like an open discussion or the consulting of the students on their project. What I personally do, because I have some master and even PhD student, is to find core supervising, because then it makes the student broaden the horizons. And for male students who cannot leave the country, or rather the country, they need to have a special permission. It's the way to connect with international community. The only obstacle to that, sometimes we cannot guarantee the time, because let's say if we have air attack alarm, we need to go to shelter. That's why it's sometimes hard to fix the specific time frame. Yeah, you can use these 2 emails. Yeah, just write 2 emails, or you can take a picture of my badge. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks a lot, Alina.